Hello, all. It is Tuesday, May 18th, and I'm here with another Trading Journal entry. Today, we're going to look at a trade that I took on Datadog. I will also say I haven't specified this in my other videos, but any trade that I show on the channel will be one that I did walk away with profit from. So there were some other trades I took today, some other winners and some other losers, but we're just going to talk about this one today. So what we're looking at right now is a 5-minute chart with my orb opening range, 60-minute opening range breakout strategy, as well as average daily range lines, as well as my own drawn target lines. So I like looking at it from this view because it just offers a really cool way to see how price moves and expands and moves along those targets. So you can see this is yesterday. The targets are always going to be half of the opening range, 60-minute opening range, and 1x the 60-minute opening range. So you can see here a really wide range, a wide, range trading in the first 60 minutes resulted in this kind of expanded, target lines that this the stock traded at throughout the day. Whereas today it was a bit more compact. So just another fun way to look at price. But let's go ahead and zoom in and see, where I entered. Whoops, I was going the wrong direction there. And where I exited this trade. So like I've mentioned in previous videos, I have these lines here that are calculated. So this is the top half of the highest point in the opening range of the first 60 minutes of trading in the day. So you can see it reached its high point here at 9:25, and I'm in Central. So that's, 5 minutes before the hour of the first 60 minutes of the day. I use this as a signal to entry, but I also draw my entry lines. So these lines that are in orange, solid orange, are lines that I drew for entry on the daily. So, if I wanted a bit of an earlier entry, I could choose to use this line. If I wanted a bit of a later entry to be more sure, I could use this line. And what ended up happening is, I put my signal alert to let me know when it crossed this opening range line, and I did end up entering, right around here. So this is where I drew another entry, but this is where I happened to catch, actually jumping into the trade. So after that, it was pretty obvious to hold on to it. You can see here it was 2 up, 2 up, 2 up. And as a reminder, each time I'm doing that, I'm moving up my stop loss. So my first stop loss upon entering here was right back here against this candle. So if I draw this line, and we'll make it a stop loss type line, just to be a little more clear. And as the trade moved up, so after this candle was formed, and let me zoom in a bit. After this candle was formed, I moved my stop loss up to the back of this candle, and so on and so forth. After this candle was formed, I moved my stop loss up to the back of this candle. So, at this point, I'm already in profit with the trade. And you can see here, I'm going to delete this line right here. This is where my actual stop loss was. So it looks like I was actually using the top of this one, and that very likely, if I'm watching a trade live and I haven't automated my stop, I'll live move it up and down just by what I see. So, I saw this 3 that scared me a little bit. Not scared me, but just okay, this, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up train looks like it might be coming to a stop. And then I also saw the 1 after here, 3 here, 2 down, 2 up, 2 down, 2 down. So I stopped myself out at the top of this candle right here. And another thing I wanted to speak to is just, how I make my targets. So this actual program, or this plugin that I use, draws two targets based on the opening range. So one is 1/2 of the range, and then the other is 1 times the range. So that's target 1, target 2. You can see it surpassed the first target here. And then I'll also draw my own target. So in this case, I had a higher one up here. And how I use those is, what I make my strike price. So in this case, I did not look it up before, starting this video, but I know I recall from the trade that my strike price was around here. So, I'll go and look at the options contracts and see what's there, see what has good volume, see, what has a psychological number, meaning, there are in most cases, humans, well, I won't say in most cases because algorithms do a lot of trading too, but regardless, psychological numbers tend to have higher volume because we think about things in tens and fives and, easily, quickly calculatable numbers. So in that case, I very likely picked 84.50. And what I like to do is, if I have targets that I've drawn plus targets that are calculated by this plugin that I use, choose something in between. So if I was feeling a little bit, more bullish, which either extra research can go to that state, or just looking for a swing. I don't really do swings, but sometimes I'll still look into something that I could potentially swing and just choose a higher, strike if I think it's breaking out. Um, if I think it's breaking out on the day. So in this case, let's go ahead and take a look at the day. And that's where I drew this line here. And actually, so we can recognize it when we get to the day, let me go ahead and make it dashed. So going to the day, here we are at the daily, and I'm going to turn off these indicators because they're a little noisy on higher time frames. So in this case, I drew some other targets. So today we had a 2-1-2 reversal because we got this 2 up. But if using, this morning when I started before this 2 up was fully formed, I was using this, 2-2 reversal. So, or this is a 2-2 continuation. So I was using this 2-2 continuation and placing my target at the, top of this candle here, which in this case became entries. And your actual targets for profit, I use preceding day's candles. So in this case, you see here this line, my target at 86.36 is going right across this 2 down and this 2 down. Because, as price moves through these broadening formations and ranges, there are areas of support, and those are areas where the price has aggregated previously. So the price, had aggregated here, so this could be a good target. This could be a good target. I didn't draw this one, but we'll draw it now. Another one right here. So this is typically how I'll draw targets. As you can see, like I said, today's range was trading pretty tight. So I went and used the targets from my actual orb strategy rather than these higher strikes and these higher targets. And that's because when I'm trading options, I'm selecting a strike price that I do think the stock can realistically reach within that day, because I'm a day trader. So in this case, I didn't think realistically it was going to make it all the way up to 92 or 88 or 36. Like I said, I think my strike was around, I think we said 80, 83.50 or 84.50. So let's go to back to the 5 minutes so we can see what that was. And we'll go here. And another thing I mentioned when we were looking at the 5 minute initially is that you can see that, today was trading in a tighter range than, it was trading in the previous day, just based off of, at least the initial 60 minutes of the day where it was a lot wider range, which shows, potential for a wider breakout. Doesn't always follow, exactly especially, trading on the time frames that I trade on. But um, you can, in general, pick your strikes confidently that way. So yeah, it looks like 84.50. So you just right above the second opening range price target is where I selected my strike. And then you can see I had all of these other targets up here. So if it did decide to keep running, wow, like that's a home run trade, as we call it, which means 100% plus profit. Um, so yeah, that is all I have to say for today. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to like. Feel free to subscribe. I'm going to continue on with these trading journals, and I will also be releasing my first video in the Strat for Beginners trading series, training video series. Ultimately, me putting together these videos helps me to learn, and I do feel confident with some of the basic concepts to teach. I'm still absolutely learning and don't claim to be an expert. Check out Rob Smith, the actual creator of the Strat, if you want to see, right from the source. But I will be learning along with you all, depending on, who's watching and where your skill level's at. But my first video will be on candlesticks, not candlestick patterns, not reversals, not just candlesticks. So starting very, very basic, and we'll build out from there. So thank you all. See you tomorrow.